we had the lowest number of transactions since 1999. I have never seen 6 months of inventory. I think since I've been in this business since 2009, I've never seen that number. With Donald Trump coming into the office, we had all the tariffs going to effect. That really hindered buyer activity. We'll see a ripple effect. People losing jobs and more inventory coming on the market. We had the worst month in March for over 25 years. I would say worst month in the stock market in the last 30 days. So a lot of people are uncertain about what the future is going to hold, especially because they've had their investment in there. Guys, before we go further, if you like this episode, be sure to click that subscribe, share it with your friend, and hit that like button. It means a lot to us. So we had the worst month in March for over 25 years. And I'm not talking about the sell prices, I'm talking about the transaction volume. We had the lowest transaction volume in the last 25 years, actually over 25 years. And there are a few reasons behind it, which we're gonna go find out. Let's get it. Welcome to Reality Check, where we discuss what's happening in Toronto's real estate market, where it's going, and help you make informed decision buying and selling real estate. I'm here with co-host Sanaz.
Hello, everyone.
And we're gonna find out what's going on in Toronto's real estate market, because for the last, I would say 3 months, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, things were looking pretty good around, I would say, November and December. And I personally had always said February of 2025 was going to be different. It's going to be the year it's going to take off. But with that being said, we had some snags along the way. We had Justin Trudeau resigning, so that caused a little bit of a confusion in the market. And to add to that, with Donald Trump coming into the office, we had all the tariffs going to effect.
Yes.
So towards the end of January, we had all the tariffs going to effect, and that really hindered the buyer activity.
Yes.
And fast forward to February and March, with tariffs actually going into the effect, we saw a huge drop in number of showings. And again, that comes from the buyer activity that dropped down drastically lower. And, we had a lot of inventory coming into the market. So for buyers, it's a great recipe. You got more options to choose from, and you're not competing as most buyers in Toronto have been used to for the last decade. But what does that translate in numbers? I think we should go take a look at those.
Check the numbers to see what's happening here.
So I want to start off with just going through overall what's happened in the month of March and how that actually differs from a year ago and from a month ago.
Yeah.
So to start off, we had the lowest number of transactions since 1999, which is crazy. I mean, the population back in 1999 was not even, probably was half of what we have in GTA right now. Yeah. Not to mention just the sheer number of listings that are active right now. So we have the lowest number of transactions since 1999, and actually worth mentioning, it was actually lower than sale volume back in 1996.
This is just for month of March,
right?
We're
talking about just the month of March. The transaction volume, number of homes actually transacting, was lower than 1996. The actual number of homes that sold was 5,011 homes. So February we had just over 4,000. January was around 3,900, 3,800. But to put things in perspective, last March, we were sitting at 6,560, which is pretty low. It's not even a good number, but I want to go compare that to the last few years. So 2022 March was when market was actually about to go slow down.
Yeah.
And we had close to 11,000 homes that sold. 2023 market was very slow. We had just over 6,800. 2024, again, very slow market, just over 6,500. But now we're even lower. We're 23% lower than last year.
Yes.
But what has really, in my opinion, shifted the market and has changed everyone's perception of the market is the sheer number of listings that are on the market. So back in 2022, we had just over 10,000 homes on the market. 2023, again, over 10,000. It was 10,121. 2024, the inventory started to build up, and we had over 12,000. We had about 12,400 homes on the market.
Yeah.
This year alone, in the month of March, the active listing at the end of the month was over 23,000 homes. That's 23,462 to be exact. And that's about 89% increase, almost twice the number of homes on the market, while selling 23% less homes. So that translates into a higher months of inventory. And that's why we're getting 4.68 months of inventory. But that number, in my opinion, is still pretty solid.
Exactly.
For the entire GTA.
Yeah.
For the entire GTA, because when you take into consideration Toronto, things are not looking as good. We're above 4.78 months of inventory, and keeping the majority of the months of inventory is coming from the condo segment in Toronto. Talk about condo market. Average sale price of a condo is slightly down to just over 716,000. Condo sales have taken a huge beating from a year ago, which was not even doing that well, close to 22% lower than last year. And just to put things in perspective, last year we had about 1,186 condos sold. And when we go back to 2022, which again wasn't a crazy time for the condo market, we had over 2,100 condos sell in March. So from 2,100, we're down to 927 condos. And the average price was at the peak of it, which was the March of 2022, 831,000. Now we're down to 716,000 for the average sale price. Days on the market have risen in Toronto, gone up to 31 days. And overall active listing in Toronto alone is also up 63%. Sales are down 17%. But when we go into
Where are we going with these numbers, Nima?
Well, let's take a look at a couple of other regions, because then we can really dissect and see what's going on. So Mississauga is hovering over 4.46 months of inventory. Brampton is an interesting one, over 6 months of inventory. This is pure buyer market territory. 6 months of inventory. I have never seen 6 months of inventory in Brampton. I think since I've been in this business since 2009, I've never seen that number. And here's another interesting one.
Oakville?
So in Oakville, 6.5 months of inventory. And to top it all off, York region, over 5 months of inventory, 5.2 months of inventory. So where does that lead us when we're looking at numbers like this? Guys, before we go further, if you like this episode, be sure to click that subscribe, share it with your friend, and hit that like button. It means a lot to us. It tells a different story for buyers. It tells a different story for sellers. It tells a different story if you are buying condos, and it tells a different story when you're buying freehold. And that's what I want people to really understand. Yes, the market is slow.
That's a good point, actually.
Yes, you have more options and you have more bargaining power, especially in areas that are well over 6 months of inventory. But you need to also take into consideration if, for example, you're in Toronto buying condos, yes, you're going to have a field day. And you can go negotiate, get a great deals. And right now we are seeing many condos are selling in downtown Toronto sub $1,000 a square foot. And we're talking about relatively new condos. Assignment deals, you can easily get good assignment deals right now in downtown Toronto for around $900 a square foot. But you can't expect to go and buy a semi-detached or a detached home in Toronto and be like, listen, you know what? Market is really down and I'm going to start negotiating. I'm getting it lower than the market value. Why not? Reason being, I'll give an example. We have a listing in Yonge and Eglinton area, semi-detached. Last month, in the month of March, there was only 5 semi-detached homes on the market. 4 of them have sold. So there is less than half a month of inventory left there. And if someone is in the market to purchase something like that, there are not that many of them to choose from. Right? So if you're in the market for a semi-detached in Midtown Toronto, in downtown Toronto, it's not going to be as easy for you to negotiate and,
as condo, right?
Yeah, as a condo. Let's take the other side of it. If you're going to even buy, for example, a detached home right now in Aurora, in Bradford, overall in York region,
right,
there is plenty of options to choose from. The average prices have held steady, which we will look at, but there are deals to be found. There are people out there that are looking to make a deal happen, and you can go in, put in an offer, have your condition in, and not have to compete. So what I want people to understand is if you are going to purchase a home, you got to look at the type of product you're purchasing and look at the availability of that type of product and how they're performing. So this is a key thing that we discuss with our clients. We had a client that was looking for a larger condo. Not that many larger condos are available. So if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot condo in Toronto, there aren't that many available. So it's going to be tough to even go there and negotiate. Whereas if you're looking for a 1-bedroom plus 10, there's so many of them available that you're going to be in a great position. You're going to be
more options to look. Yeah, definitely.
So again, just going back to the market. So that's what I wanted to get to. I mean, like we got sidetracked with all the months of inventory because all the markets are, I would say, taking a big beating right now in terms of what's happening in the market. So number of sales, just over 5,000. Active listings up over 23,400. Months of inventory has dropped slightly from last month. So we're down to 4.68 months of inventory. The average price has slightly gone up to $1,093,000 from $1,084,000 that we were. And the days on the market has been lowered to 24. So again, few things have led to a slight improvements, I would say, in the months of inventory and prices when you look at it month over month. Reason is, again, March is always one of the busiest months. So there tends to be high transaction volumes and people going out and starting to purchase. I mean, we had a crazy winter. We had a lot of snow happening, but now people are out there. But these numbers should have been way higher than what they are right now. And another reason that we see, like, for example, prices slightly going up higher is the 5-year mortgage has dropped down because the bond rate was lower. But overall, what has led to these numbers, in my opinion, being the way they are, and we have the lowest number of sales in month of March for the last 25 years, is due to 2 reasons. One, tariffs that have happened and the uncertainty that has brought to the market.
Right.
A lot of buyers are right now holding on just to see what's going on. There's been a lot of layoffs, and if these tariffs continue for a long period, we'll see a ripple effect. People losing jobs, more inventory coming on the market, people opting to rent as opposed to purchase. So not only the sell volume will drop down, the inventory will build up. So that could have a huge effect in lowering the prices. And 2, any time in the last 20 years, the month leading up to the federal election, the real estate market has been the slowest that year. So right now, leading up to the end of April, that April 28th, that we have the election, we are going to see, lower number of transactions, and I don't think we're going to see a huge uptick in sales volume nor the average prices. Depending on what happens on April 28th, regardless of it, in my opinion, things should go back to normal. And I think we're going to have the late spring this year as opposed to the early spring we were hoping in February. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the same. Like, hopefully, we see some change in the market after the election. So I don't want to make any, I don't know. I'm just speechless. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I see the numbers. I'm like, we were aiming for having a good start to the year. And with the numbers that we go through, it's not what we were expecting. So hopefully we're going to have April, May,
April is going to be
June, July, different.
I think we're going to see a better
summer.
Better late spring, April and May, is going to be a better market than what we've had so far. But again, in my opinion, the pent-up demand that's been there for it's been about 3 years right now, since 2022, when the market started to slow down. And for the last, on average, I would say 20 months, we've been hovering well below average number of sales for the last 10 to 15 years. Guys, before we go further, if you like this episode, be sure to click that subscribe, share it with your friend, and hit that like button. It means a lot to us. With the huge population growth that we've had, at some point, people are going to move from the sideline and start purchasing.
Yeah.
Prices are hitting levels that are not only more affordable for people, the interest rate is making it more affordable. I mean, looking at the prices today and looking at the prices last year, the average price of a home this year is sitting at about $1,093,000 in March. Last year was $1,121,000. So we're slightly cheaper than last year, with the interest rates being about
lower.
1.25% below last year's rates. So the increase in affordability is hovering at about 20%. So with the same money, if someone was to purchase last year, could purchase something at 20% lower than what they can do today. So that increase in affordability will have its impact sooner rather than later. What we just need is the stability in the political spectrum, just to make sure people know their jobs are secure and they know the market is going to be secure. I mean, we had one of the, I would say, worst month in the stock market in the last 30 days. So a lot of people are uncertain about what the future is going to hold, especially because they've had their investment in there. In the coming month, hopefully after elections, things will pick up, and hopefully I'm hoping that we're going to have one more rate cut soon. I mean, at the time of the recording, we still haven't had the news about the rate cut, but I'm guessing there should be one more on the horizon in April, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. And remember, if you like this episode, be sure to share it with your friends, hit that like button, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.